Okay, you know what? We just spent 51 minutes trying to make animation layers work in 427, and I understand now what was the problem. There's like a lot of really strange behaviors when it comes to animation layers. Like, for example, if you make a duplicate of an interface, and you implicate both duplicates of an interface, even if you change the name, change the parameters, if you put both of them in one anim graph, this anim graph will just basically get bricked. And okay, let's just replace. Yes. So, animation layers, I get them working in version 5. In 427, you can get them working, but they are a bit janky. And honestly, I'm just using them a bit more than I need to. They will be very useful in the gas implementation of this build, but right now it's a bit forced. So what we're going to do, we're going to go here, say no interfaces, and that's great. I'm going to delete all of those. And if we change now, okay, so now this works because this is a layer that is not part of some interface. It's just a layer that is used inside this anim graph. So it has access to all variables and everything that has in this animation blueprint. So I can do now linked anim layer. I can do overlay pose and just link it. It will still work because overlay is just nothing. Montage has just this save pose of the input, lower upper body, full body, and default slot overrides. Actually, you know what? Default slot will go somewhere else. And we're not going to really even change all that. So we can just cut it out, go into Anim Graph, put it here. Linked anim layer. This layer will be aim offset, and we don't need IK layer, and we don't need montage layer then. And then we have default slot, not this one, default slot. So default slot is overwriting all animations. We have the aim offset and then IK that will be here. Here we have montages, and before montages we just have this layering system. So what we could do here, let's make a state machine, call it base pose state machine. Oh, let's make sure, yeah, I am recording. So we got this state machine, and just cut everything. And here we have a state, which is entry state, and this is just idle. And this goes into conduit, and it can go into conduit if base pose has a valid tag. And from here it goes into unarmed locomotion, and this will go with a tag in a second and goes back into conduit, and conduit can always transit. And here we can go if base pose valid not. Now this will not be oh, and here we need to paste everything basically. Okay, we pushed everything. This is falling, this is grounded, this is inertialized, this is not, this is standard blend, and here okay, I think that's everything. If we compile, it will work. We only don't have this can enter transition. So here we just say yes, and here we just say no for now. And we need to go into our default character. And all we have to do, we'll just have one animation graph. And here for base pose, we need some poses. So if we go into our, here we say layer design, kind of. It will be driven by tags, so it's okay. Aim offset based on IK, or we can do the aim offset right now. It will be an easy one. So we just go into aim offset layer. And here we get aim offset type. Blend. Yeah, blend like this. And we need additional poses. So we need aim and we need look. We don't really need default, but it's there. Oh, and we might need none. So save cache pose. Okay, so we are saving the entry pose. If we're doing nothing, it's the default. That's also the none. But if we want to take look around, then we do this. And look around, aim offset. And here we also need aim offset final. Split and okay, and for aim pose, we need the one that we just said we might need. Okay, so this works. So the one that is fully IK. Okay. So this is the default ones. This is the look. Okay, so we want to add also a first person look up and down variable that we need here. So what we need is control rotation. Oh, try get pound owner. He's obviously valid. And if he, oh, we need to probably call the parent first. And then see if try get pound owner is valid. Get control rotation. And from this rotation, we just need the pitch. And FPP look up. Okay. We should probably add that to AJR Pro as general. It's very useful. Okay. So now I want to modify bone. And let's do it in the most simple possible way. So here will be one table, first person. So if I am first, okay, let's do it like this. Bone to modify spine 01. It will be easier to copy this node. So transition, ignore, don't expose, rotation, expose, add to existing, in component space. So basically 0, 0, 0 is just the root of the component. And scale, don't expose and ignore. Okay, and we take aim offset final, and we take the FPP lookup. And now we do 1, 2, 3. And this is spine 2. And this is spine 3. And this will be quite dirty. Oh, it will work. So we just take the input pose. And this is first person true. So what we want is get this. And now split, 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 divided by 3. And this should go to, I don't remember which one, because rotation of the bones is different than the rotation is different than the rotation of the component, but we are adding in the component space. So X is forward, so also X should be the up-down bending, I suppose. So it's called roll, but it is the X-axis. Okay, so this is the first one, and the second one is exactly the same, except it's not. It's just using this variable instead of that one. So this goes here, here, and here, and we're doing this because we don't yet have virtual bones and the IK setup. Split structure pin, and we want to take Y and offset value. We can put it here. Put it here. Okay, and our default behavior is look. So it's okay. It should still work. Okay, so we need to add tags. Let's go here. Aim offset based on IK, yes. Setup of animation blueprint, yes. Input, it all works so far at least, so it's completed. Let's go here and do configuration of gameplay tags. So usually you should put a lot of planning into how you want your gameplay tags to function, but there are some gameplay tags that I know I will use in a very specific way in my project. So I can go either here and say project settings, gameplay tags, and you have 3 options of adding them. One is a data table, and then you just add this data table here. And in order to do that, you just make a data table that is of specific type. Another way to do it is just add the tags directly here. So you have, you can also rename tags, but let's use this. Category, no, we want to just, add new gameplay tag. It says that the source is default gameplay tags ini in the config of our project. So, knowing that, we can just open Explorer. Instead of content, we can go into instead of content, we can go into, I think it was, config, yeah. And we don't have any yet, right? Default gameplay tags ini. So let's make animation dot base pose dot unarmed, and let's just or let's call it default or something like that. And let's just add a tag. We have animation base pose default, right? So this should create this file right now. So if I jump back here, we have now default gameplay tags ini. We can open that, and we can actually add new tags directly here into the file itself. So that's very useful as well. And it also contains the configuration of many other things. Also, if you don't run gameplay tags that are different on client and server, if every client and server uses same gameplay tags, you can use fast replication. And fast replication means that tags are not being replicated by their name, they're being replicated by their index. So it's a lot faster, a lot better, and I highly recommend doing that. Okay, so we got this, and yeah, let's just set it as default. So animation, game pose, base pose default. We got it as default. We go here and we say base pose is equal base pose default. And we want to go back if base pose is not equal default. And this should remove all of our errors. And now that we just play start, we have basic locomotion system for this guy with turn in place, with everything working pretty well. Let's go back here. Let's go into some other stuff. 120, let's make it 12. It will be faster. Okay, I like it like this. We don't use this, at least for now. We can use it later. Especially in the blueprints version, we'll be heavily relying on those events. But here, this is okay. Okay, we got basic graph. So let's take a look. We have a layer that handles the base pose. Inside this layer, we have a state machine. And then from this layer, we go with input pose into our overlay layer, where we don't have anything yet. But here we will be doing overwriting of poses based on overlay tag. And then we just save this input pose, do our standard blend based on spine. And by the way, 3 means it's the 4th bone from the spine. So the perfect blend happens at 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's the upper arm, and also it's the neck. Oh no, it's actually the head. So this is what we want. We want the head to have perfect rotation with our aim offset and with our blends, which is very important when we're looking up and down in first person and we want to have a reliable experience. We're not doing any IK yet. This is not very important for the gameplay events. So we just wrapped up our animation setup. And it's quite small and very decent. And we have aim offset, that is just look aim offset. We have IK aim offset for first person and not first person. And normally, if we were running animation layers, we could like make this as one example and this as second, and we could just swap them, but there's no need to do that here, really. And because we are not using linked animation graphs here, we're just running one instance of this animation per character. So on performance level, it's not bad. So let's take a look at other tasks. So locomotion based tags. Yeah, we just got one. Ability system tags and damage system tags. Okay, so we will need those two. And the thing is, we should continue to develop tags as we go, and either plan them up front really well and know exactly what we expect from our game, what abilities we'll have, what will be happening with everything. And I know some of that stuff will be added as we go. So we can add new tag, and the name will be ability and type. And now we have, well, we have active and passive abilities anyway, so we don't need to do active and passive. This is something we'll have to do for the gameplay ability system, for the gas implementation, because we need to mark abilities that we want to be concurrent to each other. So we maybe want to have type uninterable. Uninterable. So they are, or what do we need from our ability system right now, really? Just need ability name for sure. We need ability type or group. Oh, you know what? We want ability to be a spell. Ability can be an effect. Ability can be a feat. Ability can be like, if it's not magic, then it's just, let's just call it general. So those are the types. We are not going to use names, I would say. Let's delete this one. Names will be just subgroup of something very specific. Okay, let's just leave it at that. And we want our damage to also be part of tags. And how to use that, I will show in a second as well. So we want damage as a tag, and we want damage to be physical. We want damage to be magic. And we want damage elemental, and there will be elemental damage. So 3 types of damage, and they will have, of course, a ton of subclasses, but we don't need them right now. We already know that we will have animation base pose, and there's overlay pose. And we will have animation modifier that will have different types of modifiers. Okay. Magic, physical, elemental. Okay. So that's everything for this task.